and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, freaks and geeks, trolls and derps alike, welcome. Welcome all. I am Mullet Mike with Paddle and Full Screen, bringing you another episode of Creepy Gaming. This is the show where we take a look at all kinds of creepy aspects throughout video game history, but you probably already know that. Now, last season, I covered a game entitled Batman Arkham Asylum. Now, you all know my love for Batman, and don't worry, I'm not going to get into that rant again. But ever since I did this episode, everybody's been requesting Arkham City. A special shout out to all these fine folks right here. Thank you all so much, because without you, there would be no creepy gaming. So keep those suggestions coming, and keep them So, without further ado, turn the lights down and the volume up as we journey into some Arkham City. After the surprise success of Rocksteady's Arkham Asylum, an already planned sequel was announced. The first Arkham game removed the stigma that surrounded superhero games up until that time. This one was actually, dare I say, good? Rather than limiting themselves to a movie license, which they easily could have done at the time, the Arkham series took Batman back to his darker comic book roots. Arkham Asylum featured great gameplay mechanics that actually made you feel like Batman. Plus, you had Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill respectively returning to voice their famous roles. The game was visually striking and, not to mention, had its fair share of creepiness. But enough about Arkham Asylum. I made a two-part episode where I praised the ever-loving hell out of that game, so be sure to refer back to those videos if you want to hear my thoughts about that. As far as the sequel goes, Arkham City was released in 2011 for the PS3, Xbox 360, and PC. The game was developed by the aforementioned Rocksteady Studios and was published by Warner Bros. Interactive. Arkham City was the perfect example of a great sequel by keeping the elements of the game that were successful the first time around and adding new content to the overall gameplay experience. The awesome combat system remained, now with the addition of an open-world Gotham for the most part, as well as the new gliding system. It kept what made the first game so great, but yet expanded it at the same time. Many felt that the third in this series, Arkham Origins, didn't necessarily follow this formula. The game felt more like an expansive Arkham City DLC add-on, although the game was developed by a different studio. But that's just my opinion. And I digress. We are here to discuss the creepy Easter eggs of Batman Arkham City. Again, referring back to my episode covering Arkham Asylum, there we were introduced to the king of the nightmare fuel himself, the Scarecrow, also known as Dr. Jonathan Crane. I've always felt that the Scarecrow was a great adversary for the Dark Knight. I mean, if you think about it, Batman fights crime using fear. The Scarecrow uses fear toxins to make you visualize your greatest fears. What a perfect match! I mean, there's just so much potential and so many directions you can go with that. The last time we've seen the Scarecrow, he was carried off by Killer Croc. Unless you saw one of the secret endings. Arkham Asylum featured 3 after-credit scenes. All 3 featured a hand rising up out of the water grabbing an unopened crate of Titan. One ending is Bane's hand, another is Killer Croc's, and last but not least, the Scarecrow himself. Scarecrow. Alright, enough of that. He's not the main antagonist in Arkham City, although I've heard he's supposed to be in Arkham Knight. but he does make his presence known in this game. His mask can be found atop of a city bridge, lying in a haystack. This is a clue to one of the Riddler's challenges. In the Riddler's third hostage room, you will find containers of the dangerous fear toxin itself. As a matter of fact, there's all kinds of villain Easter eggs throughout this game. The creepiest Scarecrow moment in Arkham City, though, has to be the jump scare Easter egg on Scarecrow's boat. Gotham Bay houses several ships and vessels. Located underneath the drawbridge that takes you to the steel mill, you will discover the Scarecrow's boat. With the cryptographic sequencer, you can unlock the boat's hatch with the password, City of Terror. This is what happens once inside.